On today's edition of Steve's Dangets, we're going to talk about a 3-goal collapse in a Game 7 at TD Garden. And no, it's not that one. Bruins fans are like, what do you mean not that? Oh, that one? Welcome to another edition of Steve's Dangets, where we look back at the biggest bloopers or just things that made you say, dang it, in NHL history. And this is a huge one, a legendary one, the sort of thing that should be brought up in hockey every day, except the Bruins managed to erase it. But just because they erased it doesn't mean that we can't bring it up now. So let's talk about the 2010 Stanley Cup playoffs. They were weird. In the West, the Chicago Blackhawks have a young and exciting bunch, and they're ready to make a push. In the East, it's just wacky, bizarre land. The 8th-seeded Montreal Canadiens knock off the Washington Capitals, and the stop signs in Quebec say halak. The 6th-seeded Boston Bruins advance to the second round as well, and what's amazing is they actually had home ice advantage over the 7th-seeded Philadelphia Flyers, who also advanced. And as you'd expect in a matchup of 6 versus 7, it was actually very evenly matched based on the regular season. The Boston Bruins had 91 points and a record of 39, 30, and 13. The Philadelphia Flyers only had 88 points, but more wins with 41. Because the Flyers only had 6 overtime or shootout losses, and the Boston Bruins had 13. 13 overtime or shootout losses, by the way, is the same amount of points as 6.5 wins. Please fix the stupid system. This was a decade ago. Sorry, that's another dang it. I'm getting sidetracked. Let's talk about the series. Because you might be thinking to yourself, I don't remember anything about that. Sure you do. It's one of the most legendary goal celebrations ever. It's 4-4 in Game 1 in overtime. Marc Savard, after a lengthy layoff, does this.
Handed back to Chara. Chara drive. Save Boucher. Oh, and unable to pull the trigger on the rebound with Chatan. Moves right back. Hands it on. Chara shot. Turned aside by Boucher. Billman coming. A drive. Stop! Away from the Bruins for 2 months. You can only imagine what he might have suffered daily having to recover from a concussion. Where sweat cannot get you back faster, you just have to be well. Was he ever well at the right time in overtime? Was Savard.
Well, lots of running around going on for the Flyers. But I go back to right before, probably about a good 15 seconds, Doc. Andy Briere has the puck. It's going to work itself up here. And I think what he's trying to do is flip this puck back. And I thought Brian Boucher was going to freeze it right there. But he goes and tries to play the puck. And then right after that, about 12 or 15 seconds later, Chara with the shot. A good pitch in there by Dennis Wideman. And then Marc Savard, no hesitation on a rolling puck, finally beats Brian Boucher after a terrific overtime for that man right there in goal for the Flyers. A puck gets on him quick, up and over the shoulder. And Marc Savard back in a big time way. There's the rolling puck. And the reaction from Marc Savard.
Savvy with one of the biggest beauty celebrations ever. It's iconic. Game 2, the Bruins win that one 3-2, up 2-0 in the series. Game 3, Boston with a convincing 4-1 victory over the Flyers, and oh my goodness, they're about to run away with this and sweep them. And that is when this series turned into a game of inches. In Game 4, well, maybe the Flyers aren't done just yet. They find themselves with a 3-1 lead. Oh, but Boston gets one. Okay, we're evaporating. It's 3-2, but still after 2. Lucic scores for the Bruins to make it 3-3. Ville Laino makes it 4-3 for the Flyers, and Mark Recchi ties it 4-4 for the Bruins with just 32 seconds to go. We're going to overtime. Boston's going to win this thing. They're going to sweep them. Simon Gagne with the overtime winner, and the Philadelphia Flyers live to play another day. It's okay. We're still going to beat them in 5. Not so fast. Game 5, 4-0 Flyers. Michael Leighton and Brian Boucher split the shutout there. Okay, so we got to beat him in 6. Not so fast. The Flyers are up 2-0 late. Milan Lucic makes it a 1-goal game with a minute to go. but they can't do it. And oh my goodness, a series that was 3-0 is now going to go to a Game 7? In Game 7, something must have clicked in the Boston Bruins. Something must have happened because they said, nuh-uh. Michael Ryder scores on the power play early. Boom, Bruins up 1-0. Lucic, boom, and boom again. He scores a pair, and the Bruins are up 3-0 in the first period of Game 7. That's more like it. But before the intermission, JVR, James Van Riemsdyk, the rookie, scores to put the Flyers on the board, and it's a bit of a weird one, and oh my goodness.
Richards coming up high. Van Riemsdyk curl and drag. Score!
Okay, still a 2-goal lead. Still a 2-goal. Oh, Scott Hartnell scored 2. Oh, it's okay. It's still a 3-2 lead. Oh, Danny Briere scored and tied. What? And it's the most bizarre thing ever. The Bruins, who led the series 3-0, go up 3-0 in Game 7, and the Flyers, 1, 2, 3, come right back. The score in this game was an exact replica of the score in the series. Wow. Okay, so it's tied less than halfway through regulation. I wonder what overtime is going to hold. Well, you're going to have to keep wondering forever because this game never got there. The Boston Bruins, with a too many men on the ice penalty in the third period, Flyers go to the power play.
Sends it low for Leno, comes out the far side to Richards, in front, loose puck, Gagne scores! Philadelphia, for the first time in the series, has history on its side. From 0-3 down to a 4-3 lead.
Simon Gagne scores. The Philadelphia Flyers are on top 4-3. And that's the way it remains. Michael Leighton stops 22 of 25. And the Philadelphia Flyers, down 3-0, pull off the second round victory over the Bruins. Man, that Flyers group was a tough bunch. The fact they were the 7th seed and they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final, Game 6 even. They were this close. Wow. And for the Boston Bruins, that is a dang it and a legendary one. But here's the amazing thing about those Bruins. If you have yucky sports history, and any team's gonna have it, you have moments you want to erase. Prime example, the Washington Capitals. They finally win the Stanley Cup in 2018. And it means more, it's a little bit better because they beat the Pittsburgh Penguins to get there. The very next season, the 2011 Stanley Cup playoffs, the Boston Bruins, people remember that team for what? Their toughness, Brad Marchand speed bagging the Sedins pretty much all series, and the fact that those Bruins teams had 3 7-game series en route to a Stanley Cup in rounds 1, 3, and 4. Anyone remember what happened in the second round? The Boston Bruins take on the Philadelphia Flyers in a rematch, and the Bruins pulverize them. It was a 4-game sweep for the Bruins like it should have been the season before, and it wasn't even close. The Bruins outscoring the Flyers in that 4-game series 20-7. That's an average score of 5 to 1.75 goals because math. And the Boston Bruins go on to win the 2011 Stanley Cup. And you know it felt that much better because they swept the Philadelphia Flyers en route. It's funny, I got to talk to Patrice Bergeron a few years ago, and we got to talking about that 2010 series against the Flyers. And I, give him a little bit of a jab because it's a huge dang it. It's embarrassing. It's brutal. But he was rapid fire quick to bring up the fact that the Bruins won the Stanley Cup the next year.
Like, have you ever had a bad loss? Do you guys lose on occasion?
We do. We actually, same thing happened to us in 2010, the year before.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Loose puck, Gagne scores! Philadelphia, for the first time in the series, has history on its side. From 0-3 down to a 4-3 lead.
The year before we won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah!
There was that. There was also that.
You play card games? You ever play President? If a dang it is a 2, winning the cup next year is the Joker. And if you have no idea what that's referring to, oh, look at you and your exciting childhood. Shut up. Leave a comment in the comment box down below. What are some great examples of huge dang it's throughout NHL history that got erased? Because this one, it's got to be at the top of the list. And I hope you enjoyed this video because that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends to step on the gas in Game 4, man.